Today is September 20th, 2020. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. I hope all is well. Today's topic will be when you take on a concept or belief, you enlist yourself in the army of that belief and you have to defend the borders of it, right? So when we're all born, we're not born with any concepts. We take on the concepts from the society. And so the ideas of the masses are the ideas of the ruling class. So the language that you speak, whatever language that you speak, I speak English here because I'm in America. Doesn't mean I'm from Britain. It doesn't mean any of that. But I speak the language of the land, right? And so words are a GPS to reality. So you use the GPS to get to reality or your understanding of reality. And once you use the words, you begin to take on concepts that the words bring to you. So now, I can entertain a topic without believing it. That's how I move, right? It's for me, once I take on the belief and I wholeheartedly take it on, I look at it like it can't possibly have any flaws and it can be dangerous. It'll cause me to start arguing with people over their different POV or point of views that doesn't coincide with mine. The power of being able to agree to disagree. I'm not trying to convince no one of anything. I just live my truth, put it out there. Those who get it. Those who don't, right? I don't want to be enlisted in the army of the concept or belief that I took on, right? That wasn't mine to begin with in the first place because I wasn't born with any of these concepts. If the concept was so important, it would have been strapped to my DNA and RNA, and I wouldn't need someone else to give me their version of it, right? So these ideological standpoints that the human being takes on, because our brain is a biocomputer and it needs an operating system to run on. So you have software, the concept, and then you have the hardware. What now you believe now is the hardware that you're going off of. And so we use the hardware for strength, continuity, purpose, right? And it gives you a sense of strength. The problem becomes when someone has a different view of what it is that you subscribe to and not knowing how to agree to disagree. I see this all the time with different groups, different sets, different belief systems, religion, whatever, doctrines, school of thought, and people have a very hard time being able to agree to disagree because it's almost like an act of violence psychologically from that observer's view. They have to protect the borders of what it is that they believe from anybody. And then cognitive dissonance begins to come in. Cognitive dissonance means when you hold two contradictory ideas at the same time and someone else has an opposing view to your concept or what you subscribe to, and it doesn't sit well with you because you're trying to understand how did you come to this conclusion and they can't. And so sometimes we become pushy and you try to push it off on the other person. But what works for you might not work for the other person. Took me years to really understand that. So I've learned that you can't convince someone to know something that can only be known by themselves. So what I do is I let people go out there, live a little experience, right? If they ask me, I tell them. If they don't, I sit back, I live my truth, and I begin to live it and just become an example as opposed to trying to force the egg to crack from the outside. The egg has to crack itself from the inside. The baby inside that egg has to crack it on its own or it'll die. If you crack it from the outside, it's going to die. So I've learned that the library of experience for each person is different. As they're gathering up data, gathering up information, doing comparison and contrast to see how the information sizes up to what they've learned before, previously, hindsight, how it deals with the now, how it creates foresight. So understanding that every person is different, differentiation is experience. My experience and your experience are not the same. For me, I'm simply always just trying to arrive at the truth, even if the truth makes me uncomfortable, because a lot of truths are very uncomfortable, right? So this is why I'm saying that I don't want to become enlisted in the concept or in the army of a concept that I wasn't born with in the first place. I can use it as a catalyst, yes. But am I going to impose it on other people? No. Right? Only if you ask, if you're curious. Only thing I'll do is live my truth and try to be a beacon of example. I do that with my son. I do that with everyone around me. I think and people will learn to respect you for that, because you're not, it's not psychological warfare. You're not trying to push your stuff on anyone, because I do understand that everyone's experience is different, and everyone arrives at different epiphanies at different times and different junctures. No one arrives at the same time. Everything is different, right? So there's a saying too, whatever the thinker thinks, the prover proves. The thinker is you, right? You're the one thinking, and now the prover is you. You prove, the prover proves the evidence to be true or not true, acceptable or non acceptable. Whatever the thinker, which is you, thinks, as a man thinketh, then so is he. The prover, which is you, proves that you prove it to be true, or you prove it to be false. You prove it to fit into your paradigm, or you prove that it doesn't fit into your paradigm. As a man thinketh, then so is he. Whatever the mind occupies, it becomes, and it also fuels, right? It's the 89 and 93 or 87 octane in the mind, in the evaluation of what it is it occupies, and it conforms to whatever it is, right? And children are very much like wet sponges. To be honest with you, even adults are. I see people older than me in their 50s and 60s, very impressionable, right? Still trying to figure out what this whole programming thing is. So I wouldn't say necessarily age. Age plays a part, but I think awareness plays a bigger part. And awareness doesn't have anything to do with age. Somebody can be aware at 17. My journey started at 17, when my awareness began to spike and to expand. And then I began to question all things and not just go along with what society says, right? So having this understanding how words are the GPS to reality, and you're trying to arrive to see what that reality is. It's the conduit to reach that reality. And we all use it in one way, shape, or form. And understanding that is a deep, deep phenomenon to be able to achieve. So with that being said, it's a short little bill today. Let your last endeavor be your best endeavor. I repeat, let your last endeavor be your best endeavor.